Hey everyone, it's me Lone. Hope you're doing all right. First thing in the morning, we're doing yet another video on Starfield. If you've enjoyed all the content, please consider subscribing if you're new. I'm going to keep pumping it out, and also like this video. It really does help. But today we're going to be doing a video on a piece of news that actually came out after the Xbox Bethesda showcase, and it comes courtesy of Bethesda Game Studios itself. On Twitter, they tweeted out that not only will Starfield have first-person dialogue, but the important one is that the game will not have a voice protagonist. I repeat, it is not going to have a voice protagonist. They are not going to do what they did in Fallout 4 and have a voice protagonist in the game. They've decided to take a step back and do what they've done in their past games, Skyrim, Fallout 3, etc., etc. And when I saw the tweet, I was overly excited. I couldn't contain myself because as much as I love Fallout 4, I keep praising that game, but the voice protagonist, for me, it didn't quite hit home. Not because of the quality of the voice acting, just because of a variety of reasons. I'll talk about that in a second. So I was excited, and I thought unanimously everyone would be on board with this decision. But no, like if you actually read through the replies to that tweet, I'll link it in the description below, there was a lot of people saying that this was actually a step back. Like, how could you, when it comes to a game in 2022 or 2023, how could you have a AAA game that doesn't have a voice protagonist? I was genuinely shocked reading these replies. I couldn't believe that people were actually for a voice protagonist in Starfield. And I'm going to try and present some of their arguments and play devil's advocate, all that crap. But to be honest, my bias is clear. I think this is absolutely the correct call. I think absolutely not having a voice protagonist in Starfield is going to make for a much better BGS game. So let's put aside, first of all, though, let's put aside the question as to whether this is actually the correct decision. I just want to talk about how a bit unfair it is that when BGS with Fallout 4, they, say that they're going to have a voice protagonist, they have the trailer, let's go home pal, all that kind of stuff, and then the game is released. It's unfair that they are hugely criticized for that, both when they announced it and in the game itself, because people didn't like it, people wanted to be able to envision their own voice in the character's head. That's not what they've come to expect with BGS games, etc., etc. It's unfair for them to be criticized about that, and then when they revert their decision for their next game, they're also criticized for that too on the other side. It's like they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. And I know that publishers and BGS, they've come to expect that you can't please everyone on the internet. It's the reality of the internet. It's also the reality of the games community. Sometimes you have to make decisions and know that there's going to be a decent group of people, or maybe even a small but vocal group of people, they won't agree with what you've done, right? So yes, it's come to be standard effectively in the games industry, but it still doesn't make it right, in my opinion. It still doesn't make it right for Bethesda to realize, maybe a voice protagonist wasn't the correct call in Fallout 4. After all that criticism, we'll go back, and for there still to be a group of people that shits on them. In my opinion, that is stupid, and I'm gonna defend that to the death. Again, I'm someone that has tried to be as fair as possible in my Starfield impressions so far. I've covered stuff on both sides of the argument, but this is 100% the correct call. 100% the correct call. And let's quickly cover those arguments. A lot of you know that, right? But let's quickly cover the arguments. Number one, it's not what we've come to expect in BGS games, right? When you grow up with games like Fallout 3, Skyrim, etc., that do not have a voice protagonist, for that to suddenly change like it happened in Fallout 4, it's a shock. It is different, and a lot of us don't like change. It's a simplistic argument, but still, when it's something that you've grown accustomed to and that you've come to love, and that's the reason why you like Bethesda games, but the reason why people like Zelda games, the exact same argument, because they don't have a voice protagonist, and for that to be changed, it is not a good thing. But also, second of all, as an RPG, as a Bethesda Game Studios RPG at least, all of us like to envision our voice in the head or the voice of the protagonist, right? We like to be able to, in our head, imagine how the dialogue is being presented, how it's actually being spoken to all the NPCs and characters in the game. That's the way that we've come to play, especially when you're role-playing in a Bethesda Game Studios game, which is huge, upon multiple playthroughs, etc., you might envision a different voice next time. It provides so much more creativity in our minds when it comes to our imagination. And when you have a voice protagonist, it takes that away. It absolutely takes that away. And again, it doesn't matter how good the voice acting is. When it comes to Fallout 4, Brian and Courtney did an amazing job and a phenomenal job, all things considered, all the dialogue they had to deliver, all circumstances they had to deliver it in. They did an amazing job when it came to to the dialogue, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was the right call. That doesn't mean that it took us out of it a little bit because we pictured this random person that was meant to be us speaking in the game. It didn't quite make sense. And when you only have 2 voice actors, because they can't bring in 100 voice actors for the one person delivering all the same dialogue, but when you just have 2 voice actors, it's like every playthrough that I play through, my character sounds the same, whether it's a good person or a bad person or whatever it might be, whoever I'm role-playing is. It doesn't necessarily make sense. And the biggest point, and you all are very well aware of this, when you have a voice protagonist, you are limiting yourself in the amount of dialogue that your character can deliver. When you look at Fallout 4, every piece of conversation that you had 4 options. You had 4 options. They were all voiced, mind you, but you only had 4 options because you can't keep adding 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dialogue options for every conversation because you're going to have way too many lines that a voice actor needs to deliver. It's like literally impossible to have that large number of dialogue options. But when you don't have a voice protagonist, you can add as many as you want. You can say with every conversation, oh, this one I'm going to have 3 dialogue options. This one I'm going to have 5. This one I'm going to have 6. It's literally how Bethesda Game Studios have done their games since they've started creating games. Again, that's what we've come to expect, but it provides for that flexibility. And where it also provides flexibility, let's say a piece of dialogue needs to change. Let's say they want to change it at the last minute. Do you know how difficult it is when you have a voice protagonist to bring that person in to re-record those lines of dialogue? You have to consider it into the planning as well. It really does affect the amount of creativity and the flexibility that you have in a game. So for all those reasons, I still cannot believe that people are saying that this is the wrong call. Yes, there is a place for voice protagonists, absolutely. And yes, the vast majority of games. You look at games like Witcher, other games like that, even RPGs that have a voice protagonist, it works in those other games. It 100% works. But when it comes to a BGS game, it is not the right fit, and I will stand here to the death and defend it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe that this is the right call? Do you believe it's fair or unfair for Bethesda at this stage to be receiving the criticism, given all the context and the background of Fallout 4? Because generally, I don't feel like it was fair. And I can't believe people are actually saying it's the wrong decision. I'm actually a little bit speechless right now. So again, let me know in the comments below what you think. I might have missed some arguments, but who cares? I'm not playing devil's advocate. I'm biased in this decision here. And until next time, this has been Alone. Please take care of yourselves. And would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.